here. Now, the Warner Western label is not that old. It's a fairly young label. How have things been going?
3 years old, I think.
Yeah.
This 94, yeah.
So in your opinion, how is the whole Western music scene going? Are people really catching on?
Really catching on to it. They really are. I mean, it's something that goes around every so often, you know, kind of gets back in fashion with the Western movies and, you know, Western TV shows, you know. Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman's probably the top Western show on TV, you know, right now. And,
well, in fact, speaking of the movies and all, you kind of got into the whole cowboy way of life watching some of these B-Westerns, didn't you, when you were young?
Absolutely. You know, that was kind of one of the things that turned me to singing cowboy. Even though that song wasn't a cowboy song that I did, but, you know, it didn't necessarily sing all cowboy songs, you know. In the 1870s, probably one of the most popular songs that were sung by cowboys and people of that time period in the 1870s was When You and I Were Young, Maggie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they didn't just sing, you know, Get Along Little Doggies and Home on the Range.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Now, but you were actually a working cowboy, right?
Yeah, I have done it, yeah, you bet. I don't now, but the
that's
cowboy music business is...
Oh, that's a hard way of life. You know, a lot of times it's, I guess, glamorized in some of the movies.
It really does. You know, they all think they all wore a white hat and rode the same horse all the time, you know.
Right. But I think it's important to kind of live the life to be able to sing the music.
Absolutely. I really have always believed that, you know, and so I've had my taste of it and still do. I mean, I still keep my hand in it.
Now, one other thing you did recently was go to Italy. And I think you were asked to go over there to be a part of a festival, I guess, of Western music?
Well, what it was it was Western art. It was Charlie Russell and Remington, and they also did a tribute to the movies, the motion pictures of John Ford.
Right.
And it was in Rome and put on by the city of Rome.
All right, now what were you asked to do?
And I was asked to sing cowboy songs, and they knew exactly what they were getting. I mean, a lot of times, you know, we say country western, or we lump it all into, you know, this one thing, but they specifically wanted cowboy songs and traditional music. So Mike Seeger was there, Bill and Rosie Caswell. I hadn't seen for 20 years. They wind up in Rome. I see them, you know, my wife and I, and also the Nashville Bluegrass Band.
Well, did the people in Italy have a clue?
Oh, absolutely.
They did?
Absolutely. We did some shows in the museum in the evening, like a 1-hour concert, and probably maybe 200, 250 people. But then the night that the Nashville Bluegrass Band were there, Bill and Rosie and the Bluegrass Band and myself were outside, and they blocked the street off, and it was something they never do. They said, this is in the history of Rome, we've never blocked a street off, you know, and we don't think anything of it here, you know, let's have a dance, you know. And they did that. It was about 3,000 or 4,000 people out there standing on the road.
Oh, that must have been, I was going to say, that must have been a thrill for you.
It really was. You know, I've been to Europe several times, you know, but I've never been to Italy, and the fans over there just love country music and Western and cowboy music. They love it all.
But they knew that you weren't going to sing Achy Breaky Heart,
Exactly. They knew exactly. You know, they're so steep in the hip world, you know, I mean, they go back so far, it's unbelievable, you know. We're only talking a meager 200 years in our country, you know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot of the cowboy singers can yodel. Are you a yodeler?
Yeah, I think it sort of goes with the territory.
Are you pretty good?
Well, you know, I don't want to tell Ranger Doug that I'm better than him. You know, I'm not.
Go ahead, tell him.
We learned from the same people. We really did. We had the same heroes that we learned from, and starting off with people like Jimmy Rogers that did more of the blues type yodel, you know, and then went into like Montana Slim. I toured with Elton Britt back in the 60s.
Okay.
And he was quite an inspiration.
I want to hear a little bit of your yodel.
Yeah, I was going to say, if somebody at home is watching and they're saying, well, how do you go about yodeling? What's like the first yodeling step?
Technically, it's a rapid change from a chest tone to a falsetto. And Jimmy Rogers did like the real simple ones like yodelay, yodelay, yodelay.
Right.
And then you can elaborate on that and go like and get fancy if you want to.
Now, are you doing a song from this album a little later in the show?
Yes.
Which one is it you're doing?
It's called Coyotes, and it was written by Bob McDill. You know, wrote all these great country songs over the years, and he had this song laying around for a long time. He said, when he brought it over to us, he said, I kind of wrote this song for myself.
Okay.
But I thought you'd like it.
You've got to solve something for us. You said coyotes. Is it coyotes or coyotes?
It's a Spanish word, coyote.
Coyote.
But what we call it, coyote.
Coyote.
Yeah, it's always a coyote.
So if I want to be cool like you, I say coyote.
You'd say coyote,
okay.
yeah, not coyote.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have a number where you can get Don Edwards' album. It's It's 1-800-437-0110. You have a lot of good stuff out.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, technically, like in the Roadrunner cartoons, is it Wile E. Coyote or Wile E. Coyote?
Well, they say Wile E. Coyote.
Now,
So
see,
they go with
okay.
Wile E.
The confusion reigns here on the show.
Wile E. Coyote doesn't sound too good, does it?
No, it doesn't. All right. Well, let's move right along. We promised you a #1 record from 1984 from Mr. McDaniel, and here it is. Baby's got her blue jeans on. Here is Mel McDaniel.